Tänään käytetään sekä suomea että englantia meidän työskentelykielenä. Toms tulee Latviasta ja me käydään englanniksi hänen kanssa asioita läpi. Jos teille tulee kysymyksiä, niin käyttäkää sitä chattiboksia. Sieltä voi kysyä suomeksi kysymyksen, niin käännetään sitten kysymys siitä englanniksi. On oikein mainiota, että meillä ensimmäinen kerta keräsi parisenkymmentä osallistujaa, ja tämä toinen kerta niin me ollaan 15 osallistujan paikkeilla. Meillä on tänään mun lisäksi Martikaisen Tommi tulee todennäköisesti HPYstä paikalle tähän keskustelusta avustamaan. Hänellä on työt tietenkin hänen, joka vaikuttaa. Mutta nyt vaihdetaan hetkeksi englanniksi. I would like to introduce our international guest of the evening, Toms Flaksis from Latvia. And Toms, it's really great that you are here with us today. It was great that you find a time on your schedule. So please feel warm welcome to our evening.
Thank you very much. And this will be one of the first Zoom meetings with such a big crowd. So that's nice that I'm in such a great company.
Yeah. And now that you are here, I told people earlier that we might get some questions through chat box in Finnish also, and I will translate those to you. But in the beginning, could you introduce yourself a little, just like who you are and with who we are talking today?
Yeah. So basically, I'm just a regular countryside boy who started to play soccer, and then at one point I knew that I was not gonna make it in a sport with soccer, and I was some 18 years old. My brother was already in cycling, and I used to train twice a day. So he told, okay, no more soccer, but you can try to ride with the bike. So it was quite fast forward, 3-4 years, and I was in La Pomme in France. After that, I moved back to help out René in, I guess you know, René Madrid, in a Read to Me bank team. And after the first year, collaboration with René ended, and the team boss told, okay, maybe you want to be full-time coach. And I knew that chance like that, like once in a lifetime. So it was 24, 25 years old I just made a decision and started to work as full-time coach already in a continental team without any experience before, like working as a coach with such a high-level athletes.
And at the moment, you are a professional coach. Tell us a bit, what do you do as a coach? Because your athletes, are they all in Latvia or are they around Europe, Baltic countries? What do you do like as a coach?
I can tell I have two parts like of athletes. One part is Ampler team, and another part consists of professional riders and amateur riders. So I coach around 35, 36 guys at the moment. So on what I do on a daily basis, when there is no team camps for Ampler team, I'm just normally at my home or somewhere with professional athletes, because they have at least Latvian guys have a base in Girona, and they live all together. So either I'm here at home in Latvia or I'm in Girona, basically. And then depends on a schedule. I go with professionals to some altitude camps and stuff like that, or with ampler guys to team camps. So it's like so I mixed these two together, and I follow both groups, like as much as I can, like, let's put that way, because if there is I like how to say it in English. If there's a chance, I will always travel to some professional race to see just my athlete in a start, finish, or just to cheer up somewhere, and then like move around Europe to some another athlete to meet. So it's like quite a lot of traveling and quite a lot of working from distance with athletes. So yeah, I'm quite mobile. I'm 24/7 reachable. That's like something that I didn't knew what coach should be doing. That no matter what time of the day, you have to basically be available. And yeah, from one hand, I have like a lot of free will. I can do what I want, but on the other hand, I have to be reachable anytime, anywhere. So it's like I like that style of living, and so far it's been quite great.
Let's get fit into our topic of today, which was how young riders should be training to get from juniors to Espoir, under 23s, and then to the elite and professional. At the junior rank, under 19, what do you see like important for guys or girls at that age?
I can tell, not in general, but I can tell some points which I have noticed in these years when juniors coming into team, and I can tell where they are missing out. And I will definitely start with injury side, because everyone like remembers when a guy crashed and stuff like that, but no one counts times when guy almost crashed. And they are most of the time so competitive in the juniors that one crash and one injury can make a quite big setback. And so after that, he's in under 23 first year, and he is still behind. So definitely something that's in my mind always been good for juniors, it's bike handling skills, which definitely come from MTB riding, cyclocross racing, and for sure some track cycling, because it saves like many times guys from injuries. Just he knows how to go around the crashes and in sketchy situations. After descending, like yeah, they have to always make a race on the distance, which will be faster. So it's definitely one point that juniors have to develop bike handling skills. It will save, if not in juniors, then after in years. And it's quite disappointment to watch talented guys who are coming just from the juniors, and all that they did was sitting on a turbo trainer or just on a road bike, and that's it. And for sure, these are guys who are like crashing so much that at some point it's all these injuries are like really big step back in career, and they are starting to lose to the guys with whom they were racing before, and they were strongest, and then starts this mental side. So it's quite important to develop these skills.
Yeah, and like you are junior only for 2 years, so more days you are able to train well, and you are able to do training, not being like injured. It's like really important, and that was a great answer, and there was some great insights at your answer. Then junior get to the under 23s. What is there? Like, what's the difference? What is important at the under 23 class?
I heard the question, like it was really good question to one soccer player, but then I thought it's really tells how it is to move from juniors to under 23 team. And the question was, it was for a player, you would rather be the best player in a team that is always losing, or you would choose to be the worst player in a team that's always winning? So what these youngsters start to experience, that there is a teamwork, and that there is like a winning and losing, and it's everything about the teamwork. Because when some okay, for example, this year some new guys are coming in, it's actually quite easy to tell the guy is like a winner and wants to be winner, or he will be just a good helper, and that's maximum. You, for example, just give some Uno game in the evening in a training camp, and you see straight away that some guys don't like to lose. Like, they are so pissed off that they lost that they will say, okay, rematch right now, or like we play until I win, and stuff like that. So it's like you can see straight away which is like a winner mentality and which is like a like in Estonian pohud, like he don't give a shit. It's just like a good time and stuff like that. So this, I think, the biggest is this mentality shift.
Yeah.
And another thing, definitely, it gets really tough. It gets really tough with long stage racing, because in a juniors, okay, there is short stage races, but you come in, and for example, there is a Tour of Solidarność, and 1 year there was 2 days, close to 200 kilometers, and the third day was a 2-stage day. In the morning was 100, and evening 100 kilometer. And so you just are coming a junior, like from 1 day racing, where there was like 100 kilometers, and now you have to do like so much more. And for some guys, it's just so hard to take, because they always in a race, they always feel good, they always feel confident, and now they feel like 3 days in a row like so bad in the race. They feel so weak, and it's really a big learning curve for them. And it depends on the coach, on the staff, and on the rider, what he does with these emotions, like, because it's easy to put like take riders, put in big races, and these riders will just DNF, like finish in the last pack. And I can guarantee, like from 10 guys, 6, 7 will quit after season. So it's basically this steady pacing into another level of volume and intensity. So that's why it's really crucial to have some stronger riders in a team and some weaker, some older and younger, because all the oldest guys can talk to younger guys and tell, last year it was the same for me, but it was okay. I did everything what's asked, and you see this year it's like I'm so much better. So it's definitely this stuff, stage racing and then long one-day racing, what's really like kicking in.
Now we get a little bit to the stage racing, and prior to that we had to have some training. How do you see the training should evolve from juniors to under 23s? And for instance, how much should like a junior rider with some experience from the cycling already, how much junior should be training approximately? We can't say like do that many hours, but scale.
I would tell that like a 17-year-old, if he can do 12 to 13 hour weeks, that's like enough. That's totally enough. And then if next year 14, 15 hour weeks, that's okay too, because the next year when he moves to under 23, he will do 18, 19 hours. So these steps are not so big. Yeah. But if there is the problem sometimes starts when there is like school exams, and then there is need for increasing hours, training hours, and sometimes for sure school takes over, and this 1 year is missed out. So it's impossible just to continue the same trajectory. So even now in a team, even they are all like strong guys on a paper, like everything okay, there is really big difference on what they have done before. Depending on how many years they are into cycling, how much they do training. So it's really mixed, and everyone is quite individual. They are not all guys just on the same page, the same level, so we can continue. It's really have to adjust quite a lot to each guy. And for example, in a training camp, if there is a 3-day block, it's straight away that these guys who are first year under 23, third day they will take easier their day already, and older guys do all 3 days, and so it's like even they are the same team doing everything together, it's always like watched after, and they move into more.
Thank you. And how do you see the training overall when thinking about juniors or under 23s? Do you favor like a lot of easy endurance riding, or a lot of fast and hard riding at the training? How do you see the balance?
I would at first watch if there is a chance to ride all together, because even there it's okay to train alone for some time, but this riding into group already in the juniors all the time, it takes away a lot of the stress from the guys, and they feel so much natural into the group, into the peloton. Plus it's more fun to ride with all others together. And in these days, like cycling is hard, and if it's not fun, then it's like, what's the point of doing it anyway? So group is the one key. Then another key would be definitely really hard effort. No matter it's some short climb or some sprints for the city science or whatever, because no matter you're a junior or later on under 23, you have to be really fast. It's just like it. Everyone can go out and ride long hours, but if you lose that speed already in juniors, then it's like you're in a shitty place. You can be good time trial, but that's it. So if there is no group to train with, I would definitely go with some moto pacing with a guy who can get to the group. In winter time, it definitely can be done on rollers, where you can really easy spin. During summertime, motorbike car and stuff like that, just to develop this speed skills. And with intensity, I would not complicate it so much. I would make some classic 80-20 rule to see that there is quite a lot aerobic riding, but there is always some more intensive. And then into that, I would mix in some fast group ride. And basically that would consist my training in, not now in the winter time, but in some preparation period, definitely. Because I think most of the times just these guys who are really capable of reaching good level of fitness, it's hard to, let's say, fuck up. You just have to watch if he is not overdoer, that he is not doing more than you ask, like because in my experience there have been like 1-2 guys who would even turn off the Garmins and just do extra hour, just to like everyone did 2.5 hours. Okay, I want to be stronger, but coach didn't allow me to do that, so they just turn off Garmins and go anyway. And just need to watch after, make sure it keeps fun, there is no injuries, and progress from year to year will be definitely.
Great. I think we have now like a really good warm-up for the day. We have like 15 people around. Anyone dare to ask any question or introduce any ideas of their own regarding what we have been talking about with Toms earlier now? Jamie, any thoughts?
There's Sami speaking here. I have a question about the kind of how do you describe it, kind of the want to win. Do you see that that's something which is like inner built thing, or is it something you can learn, or is it something which is also how important is it for kind of getting into the very top?
I think many times it comes from somewhere outside. He wants to win because he wants to prove someone. And if you ask a guy, who do you gonna call if you take a victory in a race? And he tells, I will call to my father, or I will call to my first coach, or I will call to my girlfriend. Then you can see to whom he wants to prove that he's like really, really the best. And that's like, yeah, that's something that comes from the outside. And I don't know why, but in my experience, younger brothers are so far been always the strongest from two brothers. And I guess that's something that they, from point one, they always are together and training with stronger. Another point, they always have this inner family fight for who is the best. So they like transfer this fight from the family next into the team. They wanted to be best in the family from brothers, and now they want to be best in a team from the riders. So it's like, so it's definitely mixed, but I know that it can be picked up later too, and it can be picked up from really some tough learnings. And if the guy decides, okay, I'm done with like losing, I want to be better, I want to do this seriously, I want to win, then he can start to pick up this mentality. So I think it can be both ways. It can be from childhood, and it can be later. Because youngsters, yeah, they have a lot of interests, and then if they one moment switch, okay, I want to be professional rider, he can definitely switch mindset just to the winning, and it's like straight away winning.
Just one comment from it's Matti speaking from my side. I think it's like you mentioned that it's more or less that I think in laboratory environment, if you do the coaching and then that this who you coach has just the focus on the bike, then it's more easy. But I think at the point when you are U19, and then you should lift up the kind of training hours, and then if you go to the school as well, where you need to do, let's say you go from grammar school to high school and you need to put a bit more effort on that, then it's I think the training itself is not the problem. It's a time management problem, that how you optimize your use of time to do the things that you should do to make it properly happen. And I think in Finland, if you, let's say that you go from the high school to the next level and then you try to study something, then it's totally no-go. You need to move outside of the Finland, because the system in here is not supporting it to do the two things at the same time. It's that's the kind of fact in Finland. But of course, if you just already at that point say that I would like to be professional, and you go on have a slot in the professional team, then it's easier. But if you try to a bit combine the normal life and then the cycling together, then it's a bit hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one question, or do you want to comment that one first?
That was a good question from our point from the Matti, and I think it's like what Tom's bit like introduced, that it's like a world of choices bit, and you risk something to become cyclists. And Toms, how do you see about you have like a guy who is under 23 and he says that I can train only 14 to 15 hours per week. What do you tell to that kind of rider who is under 23? How do you see that kind of situation?
I would definitely start with just some talk what he wants to achieve, like what he wants to achieve with the cycling, with the studies, and to try to find out if he is really into the achieving high goals into cycling, because cycling is a really nice sport, and maybe he just likes to train, and now he have 14-15 hours to train, and he just wants to basically enjoy that there is some training goal for the day, achieve that training goal, move forward, and maybe he isn't even that driven into that sport. And definitely, I think it's still achievable, at least in our study system, because we have quite big breaks between semesters, and if you make this training into big training blocks, and when he needs to study, it's more like okay, at the beginning it's like a easier time in the training, so you during the year you can somehow manage into really big training blocks, and during these study times manipulate with intensity much more than in a case that there is more training hours.
Yeah, I think I can share that same. I think in Finland, our school system is like they have like a really nice way how the exams are, and you are able to put that calendar next to the training calendar and see when you can, when athlete can do a lot of hours and when it's impossible. But I think it's like Matti said, Pete, it's like a time management, and how do you want to do that? And then we had a question coming from Mikko Leisti. Was it right? Mikko, you are muted if you had question. Mikko, you are still muted.
Yeah, hey, thanks. Interesting stuff. And hi, I'm Mikko. I'm coach some juniors here in Helsinki with Cycle Club Helsinki, and interested about the multi-sport. Like your background is soccer, and following some of the greatest cyclists at the moment, all around really good athletes and very skillful in other ways than cycling. And cycling, of course, is a very sort of closed sport as movement wise, and it seems like good athletes come from that can enter cycling, can do a really good job. And so how do you like mix the training so as fun wise, like if people do these really tense and long weeks, do you mix other sports in it, and what sports do you mix, and do you encourage on that side outside cycling during the season and then off season?
Yeah, in definitely in off season, and even in early preparation period, there is a big room for the games, and it can be even just it can be sport ball games, but I really like hiking, and it's easy to make hiking as a fun group activity. It's easy to make some rules for the hike so that it's more fun, and you can always modify this rule. For example, if you go and you see some animal during hike, you have to make 20 squats. If you go and you see some kind of the cars, then you have to make pistol squats, 10 on each leg, and you can make some rules to make this hike more like a game. So it's like if you go across the bridge, you have to do 20 push-ups, and it's like it's more like into the more like a play. So even these activities like some disc golf, where you throw this disc golf, or where you just do ice skating. You can try to put in some something to make it more interesting. Okay, for some guy, 1 hour on ice skates, it's okay, it's fun for him. But another guy is just like a bored, just 1 hour ice skating, it's like boring. So you know that he's listening some music. You just tell that one song you go at faster pace without your arms, and then one song you can chill around, and this 1 hour will just fly away. Guy will be like happy, and he will enjoy that ice skating. So you try to mix in some rules to make more fun, even like some standard soccer game and stuff like that. It's like and these exercises I mix in, it's it's basically some full body, some jumping jacks, squats, and more like cycling specific, like what will help in more in the cycling. Because for sure, if you play some street ball, that's like okay, it's fun, but the same time you can mix in some exercises for the core, for everything, so it's a little more beneficial. And for sure, guys will enjoy it too. Like, who don't want to look at the losers how they like stand in a 1 minute plank? It's like perfect. So yeah, and for example, in a camp, it now we have quite short camps. It's like 2 weeks, like once a week we can it depends on the camp. It's like a first camp or a camp before the racing, but if it's first camp, then definitely we just in a week 2 evenings go to the beach side and do a little bit of strength exercises, and then we do some fun games, just like to bring all the guys together. Because even if it's like a training camp, they ride all together, but they don't really communicate to each other. Like some guys always will be left out who are more shy and stuff like that. So in these games, you can mix everyone together, and during these activities, like make everyone more into the team. And it's good to use these games in a sense that normally before camp, these guys who will be like leaders for the season, they know it. And then when we go into the camp, I can tell them, okay, now we go to the beach, there will be these games, I want you to act in these games like you are the leader, so that you start to develop what you will do later in all season, in races, in trainings, everywhere. Because it's not so easy that our team is hoping on you and you can deliver. So it's like it can be quite hard. So it's better to develop these relationships as early as first camp, when they are all together, so that they really care about each other, and this leader is seen straight away at the first day as a leader, and that everyone is willing to help him. Not like he's like he don't care about that game. He was like missing out for some shots, and it was whatever for him, and that he have to be straight away that he wants not just on a cycling race for the team to win, but no matter what activity, he have to be like a first in a row and like a fight till he's still on the ground. So it's like developing that leader mentality too. So it's for that as well.
Thanks.
Earlier, Tom said something that at the first year of the under 19 rider should be training around 12 to 13 hours per week. That's something like 600 to 6,500 hours per year. Anyone has any ideas? Are we doing same amount of training in Finland with juniors, or are we doing more? Are we doing less? Has anyone any experiences regarding this?
I think the major question, of course, is that what is categorized as a training? Is it just what you do on the bike, or when you ride a horse, or you go hiking, or you go a bit running, or if you calculate all in, I think you do much more. But if you look at the biking, I think then you end up somewhere close to those numbers, at least what I have seen around me. I'm not a professional coach, but just let's say the training set that I have in my eyes to see that how they train, it's around the numbers, but then it's maybe more if you calculate in the what happens in the school or this kind of hidden exercising.
Jamie, were you asking something?
Yeah, I can say that from my experience that yeah, a lot of people are, or a lot of these young athletes are around this 12 to 13 hours per week, if not more. And I think it's individual. It's really individual. Some are going to need more. Some are going to probably need less. But from what I have seen, they are doing that. I wrote my thesis was how do you say, like it was analyzing Jaakko Hänninen's training, and he gave me his data. I saw that he was doing quite a bit of hours. I don't remember the exact numbers. I think it was a little bit more in the U19 than 12. I think it was 800 hours. That's what he was doing. So then we know that he went to World Tour. So that's just one example. But yeah, hope that helps. I have a question for Tom. If Thanks, Tom. It was really nice to hear your experience there. And I don't know if you want to talk about it now or if we wait, but my question was that we have these under 19 guys and they really want to go to under 23 and try to pursue a professional career cycling. And I was wondering if you could talk like, or what would your advice be to these young guys about how do they go from there to get to an under 23 team? We know that under 23 is very much like a job. So how do you recommend that? For instance, in cycling or in Finnish cycling, we have quite good under 19 program, but how do they go from the U19 to a U23 team?
I can tell, like from the mental side, you definitely have to think about cycling, but studies as well. And now in the new days, at least with this virus in our country, it's so easy to do distance learning, distance studying, so that there is a way to do both things, to study and to ride outside in a daylight. For sure, if you want to be some doctor, then it's another story. But you can still learn for a really great diploma, and you can combine it with the cycling. And the diploma will be always the first one. It always goes the first, because these guys who are studying, they are much more strict into daily routine, and they stick to the training much more than these guys who have a lot of time, who are just training, and they have much more time to go off the rails. So it's like if you put that way, then if you are training for 15 years, for next 15 years, okay, maximum 20 years, but you are studying for the lifetime, for 60, 70 years more. So it's 1 against 3 ratio. So definitely it's like studying is the first one, what you have to be sure that you are doing that. It's like it's so tempting for the youngsters. Okay, like high school, I'm done. I want to take 3 years just into the sport, just making sport. And the chance to make to professionals are so small that it's just you will lose the 3 years, and after 3 years it's hard to start studying. So it's first thing, just get to some university. If you can't combine it really together with trainings, and then get into distance learning university, and then it's okay. You can figure it out. You can like manage it. just this rider have to take ownership of everything what he's doing daily, and if there is not enough time, then there is a big chance that he's like losing or wasting time on some activities that's not really like useful for his future. So it's and from perspective how to get into the team, there is different ways, but one way now nowadays it's quite popular that you have to have some results. Okay, this no matter what racing, but you have to be with the number 1, number 2, or okay, number 3. But if you have VO2 max tests with really good numbers, and if you have training peaks or WKO with really good power profile, then it goes like a long way, because everyone is now looking at the youngsters, and everyone is looking to pick out some natural talent like from somewhere. So it's if some years ago no one would open, just some lab test with some local results, then these days it gets a lot of attention. So I think that's the one way to go, and another way for sure, it's just racing together with professionals. It's like no matter Finland, Estonia, or somewhere, because this professional is in some team, and this team is like a following, even in the local races, and then people from this team is watching like okay, team rider was like in 5th place, but who like won, okay, or who was 2nd, 3rd, like who are these guys who beat this our like a professional rider. So it's even possible without team, without anything, to get some notice from teams. You just have to be in the same race where is some professional.
Like. How I have understood it is that you need to have the, let's say, the sportsman's profile, where you kind of, it's like a CV where you need to have something in it. It's like if you are just average on everything, and then you score in the competitions, you are number 10 all the time, and you are not even in the right competitions, like you say, that there is no, let's say that the real competition is not there. I think, and then these lab tests, I think you need to provide them to the somewhere, at least that's how I've understood. And then it's out of these 3, I think then you need to have also the luck. That's number 4. But out these 3 things, if you do not provide them to somewhere, then I think it's like a end of the game. It's that's my understanding, that it's a prerequisite to start the conversation, and then you need to make some success and have also some luck usually to make it in the right place. You do something that makes an attention, and then you can maybe do something out of it.
Yeah, that's definitely like that, because with these 3, and then with the luck, you will get some contacts, and then that's like a next step. If you have a contact, it's straight away so much easier to get somewhere, with rule that you have results and you have something to show that you have some potential. Then it's like okay, then it's a chance that you will get chance to prove yourself. I don't know, in some team training camp or just somewhere else. But yeah, definitely you have to get this.
But I think it's like the lab test or something. It's not guaranteeing that you get in a team. That it's like some kind of threshold that is, let's say, the people who are used to make the observations and say that is it a good or bad, and they know what kind of team they have. Then at least it gives a bit more comfort for those ones who are trying to make an assessment that where you are standing.
Yeah, it's for some guys sprinting and winning. It's like crown. For some guys, for example, he is just some skinny climber. For him, like a lab test would be like to go with. So it's just who is stronger who. So it's yeah. So definitely you have to show your strongest side and then play with that.
I think it's like a power profile or the kind of exactly what you said, that maybe if you are the sprinter, you do not show and brag about your power profile, and then yeah, I can produce 300 watts, but then I will die if I put 1000 for 30 seconds. So it's not maybe way to go, but it's like making your own CV everywhere. So it's the same.
Toms, how do you see when the young riders are getting to the Europe from the Baltic countries and from Finland, you know, do you have some preferable location? Is it France, Italy, Belgium? Is it regarding what type of rider is on your hands? Because that's where a lot of action is and a lot of races are. Do you have any preferences for that?
For youngsters to after juniors to move on, or
yeah.
I think that yeah, racing like it's a lot of good spots, let's put that way. But what he needs, he definitely needs some support. So like first to watch from my side would be who will be the people with whom this rider will be. It's just it's still youngster, and if no one is watching after and taking care, then it doesn't matter. It's like Belgium or Italy. But if there is like some person who is taking under the wing, and it's France, not Belgium, then for sure it's like France to go, because there is a really big chance that even if Kermesse suits better than French amateurs races, he will be lost in a Belgium. So it's I think that's really one factor to take in account, who will be people around him, and then the next one, yeah, if everywhere is okay, some person will travel with him and like watch after, then yeah, I would watch for the rider profile, because definitely there is no point to send at the start of the cycling career some skinny guy to the Belgium who cannot like sprint out of the corners if there is 4 corners in 1 kilometer. That will only destroy the morale, the rider, and he would be like done faster than 1 year. So at first have to give him confidence. So he have to, I would see where he feels strong, like how he performs in races before, how he performed, and then see which racing region suits him better. Yeah, because there is a lot of expectations for the youngster. He expects that he will be strong, he will race, and he will be able to fight for the top 10s and top 5s. And when it doesn't happen, it's really destroying the guy. And if it doesn't happen during the entire year, then it's like hard after to give rider confidence that he is still a good rider, that he can win and he can achieve everything. He don't believe himself. He's already like so spiral down that it's hard to get him out. And it's for winning, you always have to sprint for the finish line. And if he's racing all year and he never like even sprinted for the finish line because he was always from the 30 to some 70 place, then he loses that sign for the finish line. He just don't have that adrenaline rush, that like a straightforward going, like it was in some local racing or in some Baltic racing, and he loses that spark for the finish line. So even if he like after gets quite good, he still may miss out this side for the line, and that's normally what happens with the lead out guys too. There have been many guys who after leading out part away and go to make his own sprint, but I can tell many good sprinters who were lead out guys before, because like you lose this winning, you are okay with not going like all in. You don't have this mentally anymore for this finish line. So it's really depending where this guy can perform and get self-confidence. And after that, when he is confident that he is good at something, then it's much easier to talk over and tell, okay, you are really good at climbs, but you are really shitty at criteriums. And what happens if the race starts with city laps and then goes to the climb? You will be dropped in the climb. So maybe next year it's better to go to Belgium so that you are like a veteran for this criteriums. And then it's like he's already confident. He knows like then you can move forward to address some really weak spots where he don't feel so good and work on that. But he's already like he knows that he is good, that he is working on a week, and it's okay to get dropped in a race, and it's okay like because it's just learning for some later races, and it will be okay. Then it's already much more navigating to some another spots.
Thank you. That's a great answer. Do we have any questions left from our audience?
I think I just maybe it's also you gave an example about the the kind of climber being in the criteriums in Holland, but I think it's also ultimately what is the kind of real motivation of this team to kind of take you? Is it that you just put in the front of the cannons and then they shoot you because they want to use you on something, or is it really that you can start as a bottle picker or something if there is a kind of somebody is taking care of you and would like to develop you? But if it's just that you have some kind of thing what you can do, and then they use you for maybe some other purpose, and then you kind of as you said, lose the sparkle, or it's not any more fun because you are like a screwdriver of the team because they use you for some purpose, and then it gets done before even starting. So
Anyone else has any questions left or ideas?
Yes, Sami here. I have one question about you talk a lot about like teamwork and teams, and I come from the mountain biking background, and it's quite young sports if you compare to the road cycling. But how do you see kind of the meaning of the teams, and how do we have in Finland like that tradition for teams and team training?
Was this question for?
It was for yeah, sorry, it was like for Tom about the team training at how important you think that it is, and but also for the Finnish audience, so that do we have powerful enough tradition for teams or teams in that sense? Yeah, sorry for kind of a two-way question.
Tom, please first.
I actually don't have knowledge in Finnish system, so it's hard for me to judge how good are clubs and teams, because I haven't been into the Finnish cycling from inside. So
how important you see the team training and that guys are training together? You mentioned earlier that it's more fun to train together. So do you like suggest that to the riders that go out together and ride there? Is there a situation where you say rider that now you don't go with your friends to do training, you go alone? How about that?
It can be like there is no training every day together as a group, but definitely everyone can get together during the weekend. And the idea is that for sure, for some guys, this weekend it will be intense part of the training week. For some guys, it will be just 2 endurance days. So when they are alone, it's my job to adjust rest of the week, but I keep them training together during the weekend, and I don't tell don't go to the group ride because it will be too intense for you. I better let him go, like ride really intense, but then I change, take out intensity during the week, like make it easier, so that he rides together with others, and it's always good when guys train with someone stronger. It's always good. For sure, it's not good if it happens every day. Like if it happens 20 days in a month, then it's not that well. But if you can adjust it later, then it's really like.
Yeah, that's a bit like what's my experience also, that it's always good to go with the group and then you adjust it later on, because the group rides can be fun, and for the younger riders, it's really important to have the social impact of the other people. With the group ride, you can always have some laugh together, and cycling is about having fun, and it would be stupid to ride always alone and just stare your power meter or some meter, and better to go to group, and you learn like some skills also at the group, to ride really close to each other and make some bumping and stuff like that. So sometimes, especially at my region in Finland, guys tend to train too much alone, and then they go to the races and they are a bit like scary with their bikes. But do we have any, Mikko, Leisti, you have some ideas?
Yeah, just one question on the, definitely good to train in groups and so on. It's and Finland is when Sami talked about team sports in general, we're it's a team sport country with hockey and football and volleyball and so on. So there's a lot of good coaches on that side. So really, it's fun to get together with coaches from team sports, and they have a lot of great ideas, and especially with sort of fast moving like basketball and so on. It's really good for the eye and good for reaction and sort of side movements and making your body react, and that's probably helpful for things in cycling happen so fast that and you can't train that fast that kind of things with a bike, because it's pretty dangerous. But with a ball and a little bit of tackling and stuff happening around you, it's good for the brain, and it's really and there's a lot of sort of more contact and everything, so that's probably really good, and other team sport coaches are really good in that, and especially the ones that compete in the top levels in the world, and they're also physically they're really interesting in what they can do, so that's sort of input in the team sports stuff. But hey, just Tom, a question: what do you follow? How do you keep up your own professional your skills, and what kind of medias do you follow? Are there certain coaches and podcasts or something that you listen to, and to keep your own ideas flowing? That or do you just repeat everything year after year?
It's I can tell quite mixed. I follow one big blog is it's not so popular like amongst youngsters or somewhere, but Twitter is a really good place where to get newest studies, where to get some insights and some links to the articles. And I have some coaches who I follow. I have some people who work in research labs. I have some team performance directors and guys like that. So it's like one knowledge is from research, let's put that way, and I find this research via Twitter because it's quite hard to keep up to date with all the studies new. You have to like then live in PubMed or other resources and just you can Google it all day long, but no one have that much time. Then really great is Training Peaks University, and they have this summits, and this year summit was for free, and it's like even without anything else, you get like new insights, new ideas straight away from there. Then there is a cycling science seminar congress, which happens every year 3 and 2 days before Tour de France start, and it's always in the same place where Tour de France starts. And in this conference, it's if you really want to see what's like happening in cycling, and that's the only place where you can get really insights from other coaches, because most of the coaches are coming for Tour de France for the start, and they are in this congress, just a seminar with the presentations and giving like without any secrets or anything, some situations like what's done, some data, and so on. It's like a really open place. Then podcasts, I can tell I listen in a recent year, not that much on cycling side. I listen when there is some guy on the podcast which I follow on Twitter. Then I listen, but I listen more about mindset. I listen more about leadership in some war situations, about some team management, about stuff like that. I have listened recently. And then there is some not a lot, but from time to time some new book comes out, and it's like that. I'm still learning WKO. It's they have it's this tool for Training Peaks. All data goes into that, and it's like a analyzing tool for data. And there is in Facebook there is a group, and in this group it's quite active group, and there is a lot of questions and webinars, and it's upgrading all the time, something new all the time. So you have to like.
Is it a closed group? Is it a closed group or is it open?
I think even if it's closed, it's easy to join, and someone have to accept, or it's.
What was the name of it? It was. Can you say it?
VKO5.
Yeah.
VKO5.
Joo, tuplaveellä.
WKO5.
Yeah.
Okay. Facebook.
That's the group about that program, and now it's not so active. But some 2-3 years ago, there was a Google group. It was called Power Training or something like that, and there was it was really active group, and there was a lot of topics like which was in a discussion, like a format, and that wasn't just like some one guy experience. There was like really people with the name, just writing down like how Australian track team was preparing, and like it was written by the coach who did all the preparing and like some insights, and there was like some quite high quality stuff to read about. But now it's not so active anymore, so there is not a lot of new topics like coming in.
Thanks.
Okay.
Good stuff.
At this point of evening, I would really like to thank Tom for being able to join us. It has been like a really fast 18 minutes so far.
Yeah.
We have had some really great insights from you, and behalf of everyone, thank you for being able to join us this evening.
Thanks.
We have next of our webinars at the January. We have some new topics coming on January, and all the information is available like a couple of weeks before the next event. Eli seuraava tällainen tammikuussa, pari viikkoa ennen tulee info, otetaan vähän uusia aiheita silloin. Ja jos tulee mieleen jotain, mistä haluatte kenties ottaa aiheeksi, niin laittakaa sähköpostilla ehdotuksia, niin katsotaan mihin kohtaan kevättä saadaan ehkä mahdollisesti ympättyä sellaisia aiheita, mitkä koskettaa teitä. And now just a final goodbye for everyone. Thank you, Toms. I will send you some email later on.
Yeah.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kiitos paljon.
Thanks. Bye.